I'm Katie.
And I'm Kay.
And you're listening to the Babes of Quinte podcast.
Did you see what Alexis posted?
No, but I know it's going to be stunning because her creativity is out of this world.
Here, look.
Oh my gosh, you're right. It's incredible.
Real talk, I don't even want to get married, but if I did, I'd want Alexis to do my florals. Her modern boho aesthetic is like right up my alley.
She does dried bouquets too. I saw one the other week that was full of dried lavender and bunny's tail. It was so cute.
Get a little more pretty in your doom scrolling and follow @Designs by Alexis Rose on Facebook and Instagram.
The Family Dental Center is locally owned with offices in Belleville, Frankfurt, and Coburg.
FDC has a team of highly qualified, caring dental professionals and modern technology to offer patients a stress-free and amazing dental experience.
Make sure you stay up to date on all things Family Dental Center by liking them on Facebook @Family Dental Center and following them on Instagram @FDC Family. Intro extra, baby. Sup?
Hi.
It's Wednesday. This is coming up tomorrow.
I have heartburn.
I have anxiety.
I have heartburn because of anxiety.
Yeah, I feel like I also have an ulcer. So
I also forgot. So I got a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, you did.
And it's great, but I forgot it downstairs, and I'm really regretting that decision.
Once you have like a water bottle or a vessel to drink water, when you don't have it, you're like lost.
I know. I feel like I want this everywhere. And Kate was like, she saw it the other night and she was like, can I have this?
No.
No,
child.
Can you get me one?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. And by we'll see, I mean, like, I'm going to get her one, but it's just like finding one.
Yes.
Because they're impossible to find right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I didn't know. I feel like I had things to tell you, but I don't remember.
I have things for after.
Okay.
Just it's things we've talked about, like regarding our guest, and just how much we love them, and just kind of like the whole like status of our podcast and what we are and what our goals are with the podcast. And it's not scary. We've talked about this.
Also, it's really hot outside.
It's very hot outside.
So this episode is with Elizah, who started There She Glows, and she's
been on the podcast.
Has been on the podcast with 100 Acre Wood. I did a really shoddy intro because it's a bit of a different episode.
That's part of what I want to talk about after the episode, because I don't want to spoil anything.
I don't want to spoil anything, but she has an announcement, so I think we'll just get right into it. There's going to be no intro from us. It's just going to be her. So without further ado, Babes of Quinte, please welcome Elizah.
Our badass new best friend.
Hi.
Thank you.
Sup?
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
I like your shirt. It's very bright.
I was actually hilariously thinking about this morning. Plug to Mary Wood. This was her shirt. She gave it to me.
I love that. I love not a hand-me-down. Just like
it's totally a hand-me-down, and I'm not embarrassed to say it.
Oh, no.
I love this shirt.
Do that all the time.
They have matching pants.
What?
Stop it.
It's a shirt. It has matching pants.
It's very pink. Because nobody can see it.
You know what?
We can see it. No one else
funny
can.
because like maybe a year ago I'd be like, I would never wear pink.
Oh,
and
yeah.
now you're like,
and I wore
diving
a
it.
bright pink full jean jumpsuit yesterday to my child's hockey game.
Amazing.
I think I've seen pictures of that on your Instagram, and I'm obsessed with it. And I think you wore a jumpsuit the last time you were here.
Maybe. I wore a Vans green corduroy
Yeah.
jumpsuit that
I
I
was
got
obsessed
at
with it.
Winners
Nice.
I
love
for
a jumpsuit.
50% off the price they were selling it on.
Oh, damn.
Vans website for.
I literally Googled it immediately after that episode.
I understand why. If you're gonna go buy it, make sure you buy one size up because if you want it to fit if you want it to fit comfortably, it's corduroy, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot of giving that.
It's hot.
And we're already sweaty bitches.
Yeah.
We'll be in our office, and I'm just like, do you have deodorant in your bag?
Yeah, I carry it around with
always.
me like it's a puppy. It's an extra appendage, that deodorant stick.
You're here to tell us some news.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. That's
I'll
really
put a
not my
sound
stuff.
effect.
Do we do sound effects now?
Yeah. I've had There She Glows hair for 8 years. 8 years, I think. It's almost 8 years, I think, in August. And I'm closing up shop.
Closing up shop.
And I'm really okay with it.
I think that's Good.
Is there a close the door sound?
Maybe I'll find one. We're now using sound effects. I feel like we're going to learn why you came to this conclusion, but I think sometimes it's good to step back, like shut her down.
Yeah.
I think it's like,
especially on your own terms.
And know when it's run its course.
Yeah.
And just be okay with that.
Yeah.
And accept it and be like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's time.
Good.
It's time.
I think that, when things don't serve you anymore, it's like, it's time to be like.
And that is the motto of the century in my life right now. Yeah. Lots of big decisions have happened in the last couple of years of my life, and I just kind of sat back and realized that, like, I've done a lot for 8 years. I mean, like, the first couple of years was pretty quiet. But yeah, I've done a lot. And I'm just sitting in this place now where it just, I have a wedding or a couple weddings, and I'm feeling very overwhelmed. And I sit back and go, how did I do wedding seasons of 56 weddings?
Yeah.
Because that's like May to October, and you're cramming that much into that small amount of time and trying to remain sane and be a parent and show up for them and for yourself. And, I'm not Superwoman.
But also, like, weddings seem like a very intense thing, and to do that many of them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, intense in that brides can be bitches.
Yes.
We love you all, but you can be a lot.
I love you all. Actually, it's never the bride. It's always the mom.
Oh.
Stop it, really?
Always the mom. Every single time.
So interesting.
Except for your mom.
Yeah. She's pretty chill.
Always the mom. Or, like, and I think I said this in the 100 Acre Wood, or it's like the best friend that's not getting married, who's like been dating the same person for X amount of time and really wants that engagement ring, but it's not happening for her. So she's just like super picky about every little hair. And you're like, girl, the second you step outside this building, when that wind catches your hair, that mother effing hair is gonna be all kinds of fucked up.
You're fine.
I love how I bleeped myself out there. And anyway, yeah.
Can we like backtrack though? Like, because you didn't go to hair school. Is that a thing?
I did.
You did go to hair school?
I did go to hair school, yeah. So right out of high school, I thought I wanted to be a dental hygienist, which I didn't put in my survey.
Yeah. I was like,
what? Yeah. And no, why? I hate teeth and mouths. That's disgusting. No, thank you. So then I thought I would go for early childhood education. And if you read the back of my yearbook, it says that I was going to go to school for that and then work on cruise ships in a daycare. Which is like the polar opposite of what happened in my life. And like, I don't really like other people's children that much. I really love mine, except for like Clementine. Like, I love that kid. But yeah, so what happened was I worked at Salon U in the mall.
Okay.
In high school.
Yeah.
So it was kind of in that environment a little bit. Not that it played any role in my life at all, or that I knew this before I was a hairdresser, but apparently my grandma was a hairdresser.
Oh, it's like in your genes.
Weird. Yeah, so I worked there in high school for maybe a year or so and then left and then didn't really think about it much. Went to school for business, went to school for pre-health. Didn't do well in either one. When I was at St. Lawrence, I did business and then hated it. Moved it into arts and science to try and like keep the credits.
Yeah.
And then I was playing soccer for the school, and we only had enough people to keep the team. So if they kicked anybody off, they would have to forfeit the season. And so they couldn't. And so I knew that, and I just did nothing. I just played soccer and worked out like a crazy person and was like a bar star. Is that what they call it these days?
I think so.
When you go to the bar like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then maybe take a break.
Yeah.
Friday and then go Saturday and take a break Sunday. Yeah, that's what I did. So I came out with nothing. I literally went to school for like 2 years
and nothing,
and came out with nothing. A transcript. That's what I got, but with nothing on it.
Stories.
Yeah. Stories, life experience. I was not that kid who could like go and party in high school. Like I was not allowed to do that. So I got that time to just sort of try and figure out who I was a little bit.
We are big believers here on like take a gap year because you probably have no idea what you want to do. Oh God,
yeah, that would be my first advice for anybody.
It would be
take some time, figure yourself out
I took
first.
2 years and
Good
I
for
got
you.
pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, well, shortly after completing arts and science, well, not completing, but deciding that it was time to move home and / falling in love again with my high school sweetheart, I ended up pregnant 2 days after my 20th birthday.
Yeah.
Or so we just learned. Yeah, so I have a 12-year-old, Avery. Shout out to you. She is the most amazing human ever, and I'm so grateful to have her and her siblings in my life. They all make me a better person. So,
Shout out to kids.
shout out to Avery Dawson and Ellie Mae. Yeah, so I finished being in Kingston, came home, got pregnant. What was I doing then? Long story short, ended up getting a job working at Camosis Hair Studio on Herkimer Avenue. It's still there.
Oh.
It's the one that did burn down.
Yeah.
But then they rebuilt it.
Okay.
It's beautiful
It's
now.
gorgeous. Yeah, I still go there for massage, even though I have not been in very long. I'm very sorry, Nikki Christopher. I will be there to see you very soon. Yeah, so I moved and worked at that salon, had my son, shout out to Dawson, and was kind of like that one person that they would always throw bridal styling at, or, you know, proms, graduations, that kind of thing. And just kind of, it's not really a thing that most hairstylists like to do. It causes them a lot of anxiety.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not, not to like toot my horn or anything, but it's not really an easy task.
Well, I feel like people are really picky. You're
They're really
doing
picky.
the hair for one day.
Yeah.
One day only.
Yeah, they're super picky.
It's like monumental life moments too, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Nailing it for like one of the most important days of their life.
Yeah, because like, I mean, especially for prom and stuff,
And it's
like,
in all the photos.
yeah.
It's like, if you don't like it, you're seeing that in every
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that
20 years down the
sucks.
line, you're going to remember it.
And you're going to remember that stupid, horrible hairstylist
Exactly.
that didn't listen to what you wanted and just did whatever she wanted. No. We don't do that here. So yeah, I started realizing that I was really starting to get good at it, and then really loving it. I was in hair school. I did do an apprenticeship program. So you went to school Mondays, and then you worked in the hair salon for the rest of the week.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was actually advanced in salon, like much more than I was in school, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Trying to find a better way to say that. But anyway, I was delayed in school based
But
on
you
like
were,
what they
like,
were teaching me.
ahead.
They're like, oh, we're going to learn color today. I'm like, cool. I put color on at work all the time.
Yeah. Am I
Boring.
doing it right?
Yeah, very boring. So I did an exemption exam for second year, so I didn't have to go.
Oh,
'Cause
nice.
I'm just like, I'm done with this. I hate school. Let's not.
Yeah, and what's the difference? Like with hair, you can like apprentice kind of, right? You don't have to do the school.
You sure
portion.
can.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have to do the school.
Oh,
That's part of
really?
your apprenticeship. Yeah.
Oh.
So your 1 day a week is part of the requirements for your apprenticeship. You have
Okay.
to like check all these boxes off in like a booklet saying that, yeah, you know how to do this. Yeah, you know how to do that. Because then you have to go and do an Ontario like provincial
Oh, okay.
licensing exam, which they might be taking away, which is
That's
insane
crazy.
because
Yeah.
you're using chemicals and
was
you
like,
could like
there's
burn
bleach.
people.
Yeah.
Scissors, pointy objects, hot things.
Yeah.
Let's not do a certification.
Crazy.
That seems like a really bad idea.
Ontario, don't do it. Yeah, bad decision. But so I did that so that I could advance farther and just be done with it. And then started taking clients, and then was asked to do a wedding. So I did the wedding, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I like went on location somewhere else. At the time, there was only one other business doing it, and I'm like, there is a real demand for this. So I ended up leaving Camosis, taking on There She Glows full time, created the business, started with like really low pricing, and only a very small radius, was just doing Belleville, Trenton kind of thing, doing like occasions by the bay and like the hotel weddings and, you know, fishing game club, that kind of stuff. Nothing too, I didn't want to push to the county at the
Was
time.
the county built? Like, to me,
No.
the wedding scene in the county has like really built up in the last couple of years.
Say, yeah, it was like just before the wedding boom, which was more than in my favor at the time. So then I just kept doing it. The first year, I think I had like 12 or 14 weddings. The second one, I had like 20 something. And then after the third year, I was like getting pushed into the county. I was going to like different types of networking events, that kind of thing, open houses. And I actually went to the Quinte Bridal show that they do at St. Teresa's. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. Went on to Vistaprint, printed like a plain business card, literally like some horrible floral something. First and last name, phone number, email. And was like, hi, I do wedding hair. Take my card. Hi, I do wedding hair. Take my card. Just like bombarding all these people without a booth. Sorry, Brooke.
Amazing.
Oh, God. Anyway, that's what I did. So I did that and met other vendors who had already been in the business a few years and became a part of a like collaborative group. We worked on a ton of photo shoots together, and from there it just kind of exploded. So yeah, so then the next couple of years were like 40 some odd weddings, and then it got to 50 some odd weddings, and
it's mostly like
weddings.
weekend. Like you're really just working the weekends.
Friday,
right?
Saturday, Sunday, and then weekdays are, the Drake Dev does elopements and stuff through the week, like basically any day, and through the winter sometimes. So I'm sure there's a lot of other places that do elopements, but at the time it was them. So yeah, I did that. Somewhere in the middle there, I won an Ontario Wedding Award for like overall.
That's kind of badass.
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
super cool.
I kind of brush it off because I have like almost imposter syndrome about it. I'm like, no,
man, that's super badass.
Yeah, that's
feels
really
cool.
badass.
It's a pretty big accomplishment. So an Ontario Wedding Award for the best bridal hairstylist or whatever in Ontario in like the overall division and in the East Division.
Shit.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was like a double whammy.
Like, no big deal.
No
It's
big
like, no, that's
deal.
huge.
It didn't.
And you're here talking to us. Like,
I just
what?
don't know. I don't know. I just felt I'm just not that type of person. I don't like to get all.
Yeah,
I feel you.
We get
They
that.
keep the award on this, like, it's clear glass, right? So you just like push it on the back part of your boho shelf in your living room and forget that it's there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very grateful, and it was really cool. It was a very neat experience considering the award ceremony that I went to first. Like, there was another one that I got nominated for, and I lost horribly and felt really terrible about it.
But you brought it back. You brought it
But
back
I was
around.
like, no, I'm going to try again. Yeah, and then like some magazines. I've been in like the Bridal Guide magazine a couple of times, and a couple other like just smaller local type magazines for bridal hair, and then social media, like bridal pages and that kind of thing. Anyway, so it's been full circle and like all at the same time, being a mom
Yep.
for most of it, being a wife, like navigating and like trying to make sure that it all makes sense financially as well. So almost 3 years ago, maybe, I think it was first year of the pandemic, 2 years ago. I don't know. I've lost count.
Yeah, same.
Anywho, I was working. Also,
Yeah.
I went back to doing hair again in salon.
Is that because the pandemic just like ruined weddings?
This is before the pandemic.
Oh.
Now my brain's working.
Okay.
Before. No, but yes, at the same time. I was not doing anything during the pandemic.
No.
I was still doing weddings during the pandemic. So was everybody else.
Yeah.
Don't sue me.
Yeah. No, it was like an underground hair ring.
It was.
Yeah.
We were like teaching people how to cut their husband's hair over the FaceTime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we did a whole contest with that.
Oh.
Did you actually?
Yeah. At the radio station.
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
was
we
on
did.
mat leave, but Emily did.
Yeah.
It was cutting with the stars or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole
We
idea.
were bribing people to not color their hair. We were doing all of the things. Just wait. We promise we'll do it good for you when we come back. Pre-pandemic, I went back to working in the hair salon industry, and it just wasn't a right fit for me. I'll say that. And I think I realized the hair salon industry is just not my jam.
It seems very like high pace. You're just turning over clients.
Yeah.
It's like it's quick.
Yeah, it is very quick, and like everything that you can possibly do to remove that from it, like whether it's leaving a gap in your schedule to try it, something comes up.
That's why I go to the Beauty Collective.
Yeah.
Because I don't like.
Do you see Joanne?
No, I see Kate.
Kate, awesome.
Yeah.
I went to high school with Kate.
Oh,
She's
so
great.
lovely.
We love you.
Love Kate. But yeah, no, it's just because that whole hustle bustle thing.
Yeah, it's just too
I
much.
have anxiety. It's not, I don't know. It just doesn't feel great. Then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
here's, give me $400. And I'm
And
like,
for
what?
me, I think just like too many things going on around me all at once was just not good.
Yeah, no, it's just, I don't even like that as a client.
And not even so much like it's not the work environment as much as it is just listening to other people's shit all day.
Yeah, you are kind of like a therapist.
You are. It's like people sit down on an honest button or a truth button. Like people just are like, hi, and this is all the horrible shit going on in
Let me
my life.
trauma
Let me
dump
tell
on
you
you.
all, even
A lot
if
of
you don't
trauma
want to hear
dumping.
it. Which, like, you know what? At times I feel very, thankful that at least there was an outlet for some of those people who did sit in my chair who felt like that was their place to do that. So, I mean, not shaming that either at all. I'd never want to do that. And I always want to be an open door for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found that it just wasn't my space. And so I left pretty abruptly based on just choices. Anyway, the next day I got a call to be one of my like long-term dreams doing bridal hair or like styling was to work on film.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, one day maybe I'll work in film. I think that would be so fun. And so the next day I got a call to go work in film, which was really weird because if I would have been working at a salon, I think it would have been harder for me to get like, say, X amount of time off
Yeah.
to go do that. So off I packed myself up and went to Ottawa for, I can't remember exactly what it was, like maybe five days at first and then 4 another or something. So I worked on, this is the first time I've ever been able to like really talk about this because I was under wraps. Like you're not allowed to talk about it while it's being filmed.
It's like an NDA.
Oh.
Low-key, yeah. Actually, there's like not a lot that you can say. So I worked on a film with Hallmark or Lifetime Network called Stalked by a Prince.
Amazing.
Sounds really corny. And when I first got the script, I was like, this is going to be interesting. And I read through it. And I'm like, actually, this is great. This is very exciting and totally my type of thing. So shout out to Maxwell McGuire and Lifetime Network and all of those
I'm going to watch this now.
Yeah, I need to watch
You have
it.
to. It's actually really good. So the 2 actors that I worked closest with, 2 of the 2 main actors, one of them was Natalie Hall. She's like the Hallmark sweetheart in all of the like Christmassy princess movies.
Okay.
She's beautiful.
Oh.
Natalie Hall, look
We're
at you.
looking at her. I
She's
love it.
Gorgeous.
gorgeous, and also the sweetest human, and had a baby at the time, like a new baby. Like I think he was maybe a year at the time, and her and I were bonding over motherhood. And
It was called Fit for a Prince?
no, but
Stalked?
that's so Jonathan, that's in Fit for a Prince.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Celts?
Celts, that's it. So Jonathan Celts was the lead male role in the movie. He is also the sweetest human.
I love
My
that.
Prince.
Obsessed with them both. I was like so grateful to be able, because obviously like going into film, you're like, ooh, who am I going to work with? Are they going to be snobby? No, those 2 were like gold and so good to each other because they'd worked on so many movies
that's
together.
nice.
I love that.
Yeah. And then all of the other casts were they were very, very easygoing. So yeah, but it was a lot. It was like 10 straight hours. You're arriving on set at like 5:36.
Holy.
Yeah, you're set like
Oh my God.
I didn't have to set up a thing though other than my tools. It was a very weird experience. Like you show up, they're like, yeah, let's just set up your table and here's your mirror and like just doing it all for you.
Because I guess when you go do wedding hair, you're like
doing it all.
in. Yeah.
You're doing it all. So it was a very different experience. So yeah, you're doing hair, you're touching up in between all the scenes. Right before they go to shoot every single scene, they yell finals, and then you have to just rush in with your shit and like touch them all up. And then the other thing is like the continuity of it all. So there's somebody whose job is specific to continuity. They literally stare at a screen and like take screenshots with an iPad and make notes and like do all of this. But like it's also your job to take photos. So my phone was spammed with all of these different screenshots of pictures where like if Natalie had turned her head and there's like one stream of hair that's like doing this, and you go and they don't shoot scene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They shoot 76, 12, 13.
I never
42.
thought about this.
Yeah, so you have to actually like screenshot those. So say I'm working on a Monday and you're gonna start with scene 74. Tuesday you could be doing 75 and 76, and what you did on 74 has to match what's 75 and 76, even though it's different days.
Did that make your
so
brain
that piece
hurt?
of hair that I'm talking about has to still be there.
Oh my God.
And it's your job alongside the continuity person to make sure that that shit looks the same.
I've never thought about that.
Okay, so now I've just
keep going.
screwed up your movie watching experience.
I'm just gonna be watching everyone's
because
hair.
I came home and I still do it now, and I'm watching for all of the little things, and I'll sit there and watch TV and be like, oh my God, they're missing this. It was just there, and I'll scroll back and see it. It's ridiculous.
The
So
Game
there's
of Thrones
that.
was like really bad for that.
It was
Oh, really?
The last
bad.
season was really bad for that.
Yeah, I noticed. There's a couple in like New Girl too, where like
Yeah.
she's curling her hair and she's holding a wand, and the next scene it's not there, and then the other scene she's holding it in her head again, but it's not even in her lap. It's so weird. Yeah, so like that was stressful but really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a super fun
The
experience.
snack bar was awesome
yeah, I feel
because
like
you're not allowed to leave set. So they just like, there's a guy whose job is literally just to feed you.
Yeah.
That sounds magical.
It's so good. You can just
I love a snack
show up
table.
and be
Love
like,
a
hi,
snack
make me a
table.
waffle. And he's like, okay, what do you want on it?
That's what I want, just daily life.
And they would literally like bring you food to set while you're standing in the middle of Ottawa on the street, and like somebody's handing you a container of chicken nuggets, and you're like, you are my new best friend.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
so
don't
much.
think I love anything more than chicken nuggets. And to
I
have
love
someone just
chicken
like
nuggets. Yeah.
deliver me chicken nuggets.
It's pizza for me.
Oh,
Pizza.
okay. I respect that too. I
Please
love
observe.
pizza. Do you have pizza tattooed on
I
you?
have a pizza tattoo.
That's
a
amazing.
thing.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
You know what I love?
What?
A pandemic business.
Same.
Designs by Alexis Rose bloomed into existence in February of 2020 after Alexis closed her family's small town floral shop in Beaverton, Ontario.
She knew she wanted to continue with her passion of being a floral designer and also be able to stay home with her then 2-year-old daughter.
After moving to Quinte with her supportive partner, Alexis has truly blossomed her business.
With nearly a decade of experience, she began her journey with funeral and sympathy flowers to help bring something beautiful to those experiencing some of their darkest moments.
She also loves to create bespoke florals for weddings, local markets, workshops, monthly flower subscriptions, eucalyptus shower bundles, and so much more.
Alexis is currently booking 2024 weddings, and you can pick up her stunning dried florals at Your Creative Junction and the Cookie Jar in Belleville. Follow her on Facebook and Instagram at Designs by Alexis Rose.
I'm Dr. Maria Coward of Dr. Coward & Associates, and welcome to Eye Facts in Focus. Did you know it's important to get regular eye exams even if you have great vision? Eye conditions like glaucoma and macular degeneration often have no symptoms in their early stages, but can still cause vision loss down the road. Eye exams help catch these conditions sooner, which can improve your vision in the long run. At our clinics, we offer the OCT scan, which takes 3D images of your retina and helps your eye doctor detect eye disease. Visit our website, drbrucecoward.ca, to book an eye exam with OCT. And be sure to follow me on social media at Dr. Maria Coward for more eye tips and tricks.
The Family Dental Center is making going to the dentist convenient and stress-free.
FDC is always accepting new patients and offers a variety of quality dental services, including routine dental hygiene, restorative, oral surgery, crowns, Invisalign, and more.
There are no more excuses to avoid the dentist. AKA me. FDC has convenient hours, can direct bill to insurance companies, offers a 10% discount for seniors and military members, plus has emergency appointments available.
Make sure to stay up to date on all things Family Dental Center by liking them on Facebook at Family Dental Center and following them on Instagram at FDC Family. We're serious. Like, go now, scroll down to our show notes and tap the link and follow them. We will wait.
Okay, now go book your appointment online at familydentalcenter.com.
So then after that, I did another season of weddings, and right after that, I was working 4 jobs. So I was working at I was working 3 jobs. I was working at 100 Acre Wood, but as a server, and I think I only did like maybe 4 shifts because I basically begged Mary and Kevin to let me work there somehow. And then I was doing There She Glows. and I was working at the grist mill when it was open in Consacom.
What's that?
That's
The grist
where-
mill was like a drag bar wedding venue.
That's
It was an amazing space.
and then it got shut down.
And the
because she
angry
just-
people of Consacon shut it down.
Oh.
Yes. It
That's
was fucking
horrible.
horrible.
I have goosebumps. Who cares? Get over it.
Like, I can't. Yeah, it was like horrible. And it made everybody who felt safe there, like
Not safe.
Feel
I was
uncomfortable.
bartending one night and an older gentleman and his partner came to the bar and they said, "We are so happy to have like a safe space again. Like, thank you for making this what it is. We really needed this and we're so grateful that you're here." And then it just got overturned. So just because of some people who can't be respectful.
Yeah, get over it, everyone.
Fucking ridiculous. So I was working at the grist mill as well and just kind of using that as a therapy in a bad way, like overworking myself.
Burnout,
and
baby.
Forcing burnout.
We love it here.
In
Been
this like very
And you had 3 kids on
sad-
top of this.
Yeah, so I also had a fifth baby. Good Lord Almighty!
No.
Wow. I had a third baby. Shout out to Ellie Mae. She is a wild child, and I just love her so much. And she's 5 now. So 5 years ago, I guess this is. Wow. Whoa! Time goes by.
Yeah.
So having kids and just like trying to navigate being a mom and doing all the things and a business owner and a wife and all that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of like shitty times going on in my life. My husband and I of 10 years were suffering really badly and doing all the things to try and get it there. But trying to balance it all and deal with your mental health and stay sane for the kids and keep working and looking for an outlet to sort of deal with all of that and choosing the wrong thing ultimately and very much burning myself out, putting myself into a depression, lost like 20 pounds, it was scary. It wasn't good. And then kind of hit a wall where I was like, what the hell am I doing?
We've been there.
Yeah.
Air high five.
Yeah, you've got to like find that space and almost appreciate it in a way that it's like that smack in the face, like, hey, what are you doing to yourself? Where are your priorities at? Where are you? Like, where did you drop the ball in becoming the priority that should be first in your life? Because if you don't do that, then you can't be there for any of your children, for your husband, for your business, for all of the things. So yeah, ultimately now my life looks like being a single mom, and that's okay. It's been very hard, a huge learning experience. And I do have to say, like, probably one of the hardest but better decisions that's been made. I went through a time where I just completely lost myself and prioritized all the wrong things. And yeah, I think just having maybe some time to slow down through COVID. I mean, it definitely was a slowdown, but like I said, I was still doing weddings. I did a wedding for an RCMP officer, and she's like, I don't care what you do, just show up. I'm like, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like being able to sit back and recognize that things were not okay.
Yeah.
Instead of just like pushing forward and keep going. It was just, it had to be done.
I think it's sometimes when it stops, either if it's your decision or not your decision, when you're in burnout and you've put yourself there. But it's kind of like once you're in burnout, you can't stop. You're like, well, now I'm here, so I'm like, this is the norm.
You don't even realize.
And then when you're out of it, you look back and you're like,
yeah,
how the hell did I do that?
That's now. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of where I am, because not to steal the spotlight, but my partner and I got we had a business and we were farming. So in COVID, we were just busier. And then we got asked to leave the farm because of succession planning. And we were so pissed. But now I look back and I'm like, how are we doing that?
Yeah. You never realize it.
No. like 15-hour days, just
No.
like constantly going.
Well, yeah. And at that time I was going from doing a bridal hair wedding. So like say 7 a.m, being done at 1, leaving there, going directly to the gristmill or directly to 100 Acre Wood and working. That's like an 18
That's insane.
hour day.
You can't do that.
And then trying to show up for the kids the next day.
Yeah.
Like it just was impossible.
Yeah.
So I realized, like, I mean, financially it was great.
Yeah.
It was really, really great. But that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Money doesn't bring happiness.
No. I mean, it
makes
can buy
things-
me a surfboard and that makes me happy, but that's about it.
Yeah.
What was it? We did this thing at Brazen, and this woman was talking to us about wealth. And it's like, wealth can be monetary wealth, but it's like you can define wealth in different ways. And sometimes it's not just monetary. Sometimes it's being,
Showing up for your kids or showing up for
Yeah.
yourself.
Showing up for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. And it just felt, I got to a point where I'm like, who am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why? And why am I doing this? And talking more about my business side of things. Like, and I started thinking about, well, maybe I'm like getting to a point of closing it, but I got to find something else to keep me busy. And I just, I kind of just left it as is. And then the grist mill closed down. So I lost one, spot, which was great. And at the same time, I was also doing like assistant wedding planning stuff with Brittany to just like help her when she had bigger weddings or like needed hands. And that was super fun. And so actually when I was on set for the movie, I was doing a version of a wedding planning certification online just because I was like,
one more thing.
I haven't done any education. I should probably do something. And I'm like, I really like wedding planning. I think it's cool. And like, I mean, I know a lot about weddings because of being in the industry. And so I did that. And I honestly, like, not kidding, did like a 13-hour day on set and was like, oh yeah, my final, what do you call it? Like your final submission to the school was tonight, and it's like 1 a.m, but we're gonna do it. So I was in an Airbnb in Ottawa and just like took my laptop, sat it on the coffee table, projected it onto the big screen TV and wrote my final like whatever submission. I don't know, I think I went to bed at 4 or 3 or something like that. Didn't proofread it, just sent it off. I'm like, I can't do this. Went to bed for an hour and a half.
And then woke up,
Went back to set.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a bad choice. But anyway, I passed, which was cool.
That's cool.
So I did finish some sort of schooling, which is great. No, I finished hair school too, so that counts. But I finished that and didn't really know what it was going to do for me or where it was going to take me. And then Mary got a hold of me and was like, hey, do you want to meet for coffee and like talk about 100 Acre Wood and how it went for you and if there's any suggestions you have for us. / she was like totally sucking me in to offer me a job, which is great. With or without the wedding planning certification, she didn't care. Yeah, so now I'm working there and loving it. And last year I did weddings while working there. So I
That's
was
also
doing
insane.
I was doing when your
Oh my God.
brother got married. I had been at a wedding that morning. I think I had like 20. Last year, I think I had like 25 weddings.
I said it when we had 100 Acre Wood on. Like, I didn't put the two together because you were at my brother's wedding. You definitely were like, okay, now it's your time. Like, your bridesmaid walked down the aisle.
Yeah.
And then I watched you speak about There She Glows. And I was like, how nice. Like, that's not like my brain was like, these are two separate people. And then when I was writing the intro, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, here I am.
Like, I don't know. Like,
Fart in a spacesuit. Just everywhere, you know?
just killing it.
That's what happens.
I'm saying that
Heard that before.
No, that's great.
That comes from my dad out in Calgary.
forever
He used to
using that.
call his cat Colby a fart in a spacesuit, and I forever just
a
held
little
on to
bit
that.
of everywhere. Yeah, I get that. Kay's gonna have a moment.
That is the best thing I've ever heard.
Oh God!
Oh
That's
my
meant
God.
for radio or interview
Can we
or
say that on
podcasting.
radio?
I don't
We
know.
should.
Fart in
We'll
a
tell them to say
spacesuit?
it on radio.
All the time now.
So good.
Yeah, it's still insane though, like doing 20 weddings and then being.
Yeah, so like that's 7 a.m.
I think she needed
Just
that
thought of
today.
the logistics.
Think about it literally. If you are in a spacesuit, like
You're
including
stuck
the
with it.
helmet,
You're stuck.
you are absorbing that for everything it is. Like
Now I
that
need
is
to
like
know.
all you.
My brain was like, I want to illustrate that. Then I was like,
No,
oh my
bad decision. Bad decision.
Please do try and illustrate it.
Jeez.
it's going to be hilarious.
That would be a great tattoo. I'm just putting it out there.
I was literally thinking that. I was like, how would you tattoo or like write this name? But no, it could be visual.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Oh
I'm fine.
God, you don't need to apologize. This is just
I'm not really
the way my
sorry.
brain works. Don't be. Please don't.
You're welcome here anytime. It feels very similar to our brains.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So I just was doing all of the things, and I did the 25 weddings, and then we had 36 at 100 Acre Wood last year. So 25 of those 36 days, I was doing like 18-hour days.
That's wild.
Yeah, and that was the big like, what are you doing moment? Like,
Well, did you feel like you were kind of like reverting to burnout?
I was reverting to burnout to
Yeah.
escape reality,
Yeah.
and that's the truth.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like,
Yep.
That hits.
it hits so hard, like not prioritizing, but like filling my brain full of other things so that I didn't have to face what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Which is a really unfortunate truth to come to because, do I think that it had probably a big impact on, how I was feeling at the time? Maybe. I don't know. But I ultimately, in the process of, not being with my husband anymore, I think I realized that it just wasn't ever going to be what I needed it to be,
Yeah.
which is really, really, really shitty. It's a really shitty truth to come
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
to. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm super happy working at 100. I don't even want to call it work.
It does seem you guys are like a little family there.
Yeah, it is. It's very much family. They understand that you have a life outside of work. And if you come to work one day and you are a mess, that's okay. You need a hug. You need to
Yeah.
vent. And then we get we put our heads down and we get our shit done.
Yeah.
What me and Katie do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just cry, quick cry, pull it together. Here
Literally.
we go.
Yeah.
We're okay right now.
Yeah, Mary and Kevin and Akshara, they're all, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like, you're showing up, you all have the same goal and the same thing that you're working on, and to get through. Not in a bad way, but like, every day is a different event or every weekend is a different event, and you focus on that one event all week. And, for the long term, the long haul, you start planning for menus and things in the wintertime. You start doing all of the wedding planning, like, with your brother all through the off season. So we really we believe in hard work and putting in the time to have great success. And I think that is, really what I needed in the workforce. And I started off as just a preferred vendor with 100 Acre Wood because I went to an open house and I met them, and I was, we did a photo shoot there and created that relationship, and There She Glows kind of brought me to that. Because otherwise I don't know how I would have met Mary and Kevin and associated with them, because otherwise I wouldn't really, if I wasn't in the wedding industry, I wouldn't have gone there for that.
I hate the saying like everything happens for a reason, because sometimes
I don't like it either.
Freaking sucks.
It really does.
But then I'm like, damn it, that did kind of work out.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know what? I think sometimes like because that saying is so popular, I think people think of it like that, or they'll go to that. But I think for me, it's more like, just know when, the things that are going on in your life have served their purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what, I was looking for this bigger picture with There She Glows. I'm like, I want to hire a team. I want to be like a Jackie K.
Yeah.
God, I don't know how she does what she does. She is an amazing human, and like all at the same time, like just so authentically herself. And I praise the hell out of her for that. We're not super close, but we do have a lot of respect for each other, and I love her to death. But I ultimately, I think I wanted a team. I wanted this. I wanted, that kind of thing. I wanted to be able to be self-sustainable in a way that I was creating it on my own. And I had big goals for that. But I think I had to accept that everybody's journey is different. And like the biggest thing about being an entrepreneur is that you cannot compare yourself to other people whatsoever. And even in a life circumstance, because all of these things that went on in my life, like starting from, school, I would sit back and like my friends were doing, one of my best friends has a Bachelor of Science in Zoology and she's a flight attendant.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing, but in comparison to what she went to school for and what she's doing now, does she love being a flight attendant? Not 100%, but what it benefits her in her life, like she's a travel enthusiast, so hell yeah, she loves it. She's in Hawaii multiple times a year. She is living her travel dreams and living in Vancouver and has this love of her life and working and serving and doing all that. Like she's amazing. She has this incredible life. And so you go through these weird moments where you're like comparing yourself. You're like, wow, I've had kids, which is like one of my biggest accomplishments and something I'm so proud of. And I also don't have like a university degree and I don't even have a college diploma because I dicked off in school and comparing yourself to other people and you
hard.
Just like
constantly
face plant.
Constantly.
It's a face plant.
Yeah.
So I'm like actively trying to not do that and then actively trying to not do it with There She Glows. But the trends are all the same. So how do you like find that balance between, okay, this is trendy, I want to have my own style, but like you also have to kind of follow that. But like how do you create, like, it's like a very sick game almost. Like
you're always trying to be you have to be ahead of yourself somehow.
Yeah.
And ahead of what's going on.
Yeah, and you have to have the energy to do it. And then adding in the fact of being a mom and a parent and trying to keep up to email and people are wanting you like all of the time. Boundaries, man.
I think
so
too,
important,
like, especially with being running your own business, is people think that they are your only client.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they sure do. Those people get a giant no thank you in my books.
I think the other thing too is when you're an entrepreneur and like a solopreneur, you're the only person of your business. You're doing so many things. You're not just, a hairstylist. You're doing admin, your customer service, you're all these things.
Yeah,
you're
you're
marketing,
problem solving. You're doing all the social media.
And I think people like I also thought the pandemic would make people more understanding. It did not. It did the opposite.
It did not. Yeah.
And they want things faster.
And that's what I was finding too. Everybody during the pandemic, when I was doing bridal hair under the table, was so grateful. And only for the fact that they're like, you're literally putting yourself at risk right now to be here for me because I didn't want to cancel my wedding because of this pandemic. And they were so thankful. And then coming out of the pandemic, not that they were my specific clients that were this way because I didn't feel this at all, but everybody felt more entitled. So I would get emails from people being like, I want this, and this on this date. Please respond. And I think there was like an element of desperation.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it's like you just sat around for X amount of time and now you're finally able to get married. And the way you're speaking to me through email right now, like maybe we've all lost our ability to understand how to communicate because of this. But at the same time, like I'm a human. Yeah. Don't talk to me like shit. Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around that whole like way of thinking or the way people treat other people like that.
I don't get it.
Like, where do you get off?
Honestly.
Yeah. Like, how do you, like what is it that, like if I treated some people the way I've been treated in like the hair salon industry, my mother at 33 years old, my mother would fly from Alberta and spank my ass. Not that she ever did that as a kid, but it's like, I know better. Like I was raised better than that.
It's just like, okay, like I get it. You had to postpone your wedding or your event
but that's not
your
on
grad.
Me.
It's not. Exactly. It's not your
not
fault.
a me problem. No. That's a world problem, and we're all going through it at the same time.
Everyone went through it, and it sucks, and it's not just you.
No, but everybody seems to think they live in this tiny COVID box that, nobody else could have possibly gone through it as bad as you did. Well, come on. I mean, some people, like some people lost family members, and some people, like it was a really shitty, scary moment. And like, knock on wood, wherever the hell it is here, we're starting to feel a little bit no masks this year at 100 Acre. Oh. It is so weird.
Wow. Oh, yeah, because you guys were all masked, weren't you?
Yeah, well, because if you think about it, if we got COVID at one wedding, we'd have to postpone the next.
Oh.
And we had already postponed like
so
X
many.
amount of weddings, right? So it just this year, and it's like the other thing, facial expressions. Oh no, my resting bitch face is no longer allowed.
I know, sometimes I have to be like, okay, like soften your face, because I'm just like, what?
Yeah, and I have to remember I'm at a wedding, so I need to, and like one of the two planners, I need to have a smile on my face or something that doesn't look like I'm about to kill somebody.
In my
like,
mind, you had a smile on your face the whole time.
Oh, that's great.
Didn't even realize
I
you were
tried
wearing
to
a
do it
mask.
with my eyes. Like, you just wide eye everybody. Yeah, it's weird.
I think the thing is too, from like, well, one, I didn't even realize you were at my brother's wedding, but you were there. You were lovely from like what I remember, not realizing it was you. But then seeing you speak like at the business, the network, the panel, it was like a women
I'm glad
in
that you
business
enjoyed that
panel.
because I was really self-conscious of
No,
like
you
how
were
it
great.
was.
I fangirled. I was
Yeah, we
watching it
were like-
online, and I fangirled the whole time. I was like, she's a fucking
Well, and I
badass.
had to sit next to a pretty cool person.
Yeah, you were next to like crazy cool people up there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But you were one
That
of
was a
them.
stacked
like,
panel.
That was
It was a stacked panel. So when they asked me to do that, I was like, it was another imposter syndrome. I'm like, who, me? What? Why? Like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was a great experience. I love the topic of competition versus community because I'm very much like a community-based person. Like I was always that person to be like, I'm not available, but here are like six other people that I know.
And I think that's so important. And you even, where was I going with this thought?
It's important because it like shows that you care.
Yeah. And reading, like you did take down your website, but I was Googling you before this.
I did.
And there was like a Hello Boss Girl Belleville.
Yeah.
And it just says all the people you've worked with and collaborated with
And
locally.
that was like,
that was 2019.
Yeah.
So
and
just-
at that point, that's
and
how
you're
many
still
I worked
doing
with.
that, and I feel like that is part of the reason you are where you are now is because through all of it, even if you were in a shitty mental health space, you were making connections, even if you didn't realize. You were
that was the
doing it.
most important thing to me is that, and I think I have this sort of thought in my brain is that, and very much so more now than ever, is that you never know where things will lead you based on the people that you meet. And you don't know what opportunities it will present you to meet other people. And when I was leaving my separation, and not to put a fault on him at all for this, but I was in a place where I was uncomfortable to put my hand out and be like, hi, my name's Eliza. Totally not there. Not at all. There's no way in hell that I would sit here the way I am now, talking to you the way I am now, then. Totally different person.
Yeah,
Like-
I feel that.
Like just like dressed in all black all the time, feel like that's the only place where I felt comfortable. You would never, like my grandmother, I'm going to see her this afternoon when she sees me wearing a hot pink shirt, she's going to be like, are you well? Are you feeling okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah, there's just like so many little things about that really create more opportunity. And it's so important. And I think when I started doing more networking events, I realized how important that was. And I think, like an example, so after the what was it, Women in Business event?
panel.
Yeah, so after that, I had wanted to make a connection with Tina from XXL Scrunchy, obviously, for the reason that I would love to like do like a photo shoot or something fun with her, like not at all for the profit or the, what's the word for it, like exposure, because that's not that's not what I'm interested in. Obviously, I'm closing my business, but it was more so just to hang out with her. Like her and I have matching or she has butterfly tattoos. I
You
have
guys
love
have
tattoos.
similar tattoos, I feel like, the
and her and I
style.
really clicked, even just as like humans, not even necessarily as business owners. And so we're trying to work on finding a time for it. I was going to do it on a later date, but I can't do it because I have to work. But there's opportunities like that where it's just like you could go work with some of the coolest people and like do some fun things. It's the same with the movie. Like the woman that hooked me up with working on the film was the secretary at my kid's school.
Like,
Amazing.
And now she lives in Ottawa and
Yeah.
like my kids go to school and read. So like, there's just like, you never know what the humans in your life, wherever they are, mean for you in the future. So making that connection and being open to referring other hairstylists and I got the pleasure of working with Joanne.
Yeah.
So Jo Making Me Blonde that works at Beauty Collective.
She's a fucking badass.
Yeah, she's
For lack of better
a
words,
pretty
she's so
freaking cool
talented.
human. Hi Joanne, I love you. I got to work with her and shadow her a lot.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
a lot of little tips and tricks on bridal hair and stuff. Like, you learn so much from other people who are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Whether that be in the wedding industry or hair or, whatever
I think any
specific.
industry. And I think it is a new generation thing where we're like, well, what can you teach me?
Well, yeah,
Instead of
and-
like, I'm going to beat you.
And the other thing is it doesn't really matter the industry. It's how you can apply that to what you do. That I think is part of the biggest learning experience. And that has a lot to sort of coincide with being able to take constructive criticism. Like, if
So important.
anybody is thinking about starting a bridal hair business or makeup or anything like that, where it's very service based and you want to create that relationship with people and like build their trust and get those like 5-star Google reviews, I don't care who you are, like, take whatever you think you know about yourself as far as how good you are at bridal hair and throw that out the door. Because the only way that you do a good job is if you get the opinion of the person you're doing the hair for. And that's how I made sure that I kept every bride happy. I literally would put them in the mirror and be like, hi, tell me what you don't like. Let's start there. Because
Perfect.
if I can fix that now before I leave, then I would much rather fix that, put in the extra time and make sure that you're happy so I can leave and not have an anxiety attack later wondering if you liked it or
Yeah.
not. Because they're like, in the first couple of years, I would leave there and be like, I don't really know how that went. So, some people I know I have this horrible, or used to have this horrible habit of being like, yeah, I love it. Leaving and be like, that fucking bitch. Just kidding. I'm not kidding. Leaving and then being like, I actually hate it. I didn't want to have that. I couldn't sit back and be okay with that. So I literally would bring my brides in and be like, okay, we're done. I'm going to stop there. What don't you like? And then have them show me. And then I'll fix it and do it in the mirror with them so they can watch. Even to the point where I'm like, get your hands in there. Put it how you want it. Sometimes you stand in the mirror, you're like getting ready in the morning. You're like, oh yeah, I look great. And you put your hands in your hair and you like toss it up and you're like, that's where I want it, right there. And then you try to get your hair
And it's
elastic
just
in and it's just like, wow, that was great. That doesn't look anything like what I wanted it to. This is horrible. And then you go change your outfit 700 times just to make yourself feel better. No, I didn't want that. I wanted them to get their own hands in there, put it how they want it, and once they find it where they want it, literally taking bobby pins and putting them in to make it stay that way, and then they would take their hands in and be like, it's perfect, and I'm like, great, I can leave and be happy now. It's my insufferable people pleaser toxic trait.
Yeah, we have that.
Which I'm definitely working on. Making other people happy is a hard business to be in, but if you know that you have boundaries and you can't make everybody else happy, then that's a step ahead.
I think it's so nice having you here and you saying all these things because, again, society has now just seen people on social media. So who would have known all these things? And when you do close a business or decide it's the end of that business for now, people will always have their assumptions. Yeah. And I think that can be the hardest thing. So when you can just be straight up about it, I think doing this, I think when I came to terms with the idea that I was going to close the business, after doing the 100 Acre Wood interview, I was like, my gears started turning. I'm like, I know I want to close the business. How am I going to do this? I was going to do it over an Instagram post, but I'm like, that's pretty lame. So that's like 8 years. That's a long ass. I have a kid that's been alive the entire time I've had this business. Like that's weird. I have 2 that have been almost alive for the entire time I've had it. Like this needs more. So, and I had a lot to say, but can I put it in writing? And how much room does Instagram really give me to write this out? Not enough is the answer. So I was like, this is kind of how I was thinking about it for a couple of days and was like, this is perfect. And then thinking about it more,
I was like, okay, what do I do? Do I just go in and be like, hi, I'm closing. Okay, bye, mic drop.
Yeah, I looked at her. I was like, I think this is going to be a bit different. We're going to go backwards.
Yeah. I think I wanted, there's been a lot of speculation with people and a lot of people that are like completely unaware. And I think society as a whole, as a business owner, society as a whole looks at business owners and just like, they have all kinds of time because they own their own business and they can make their own schedule. Excuse you? I would like to tell you how many breakdowns I've had over this business and how many times I have thought about closing it, but didn't, because I have people in my life who are like, don't you fucking dare. You have so much more to give. And like, this is going places. It really sucks that people don't understand that, you know, some people you wear multiple hats. Yes, they know you do social media and emailing and all that kind of thing, but it's sort of like they disregard the fact that you are also, you know, you're a business owner, but you're also a human. Yeah. And you're also a, I don't know, mom, wife, farmer, partner, you know, you're a daughter, you have a family, you have a pet, you have, you know, all of these things might seem little, but when you add them all together, then you add in, you know, life, like, oh, a family member died, oh, a separation, oh, this, oh, your kid's sick, oh, this, like, holy hell.
Yeah.
The kid is so much.
It's so much.
And then people expect.
That's why I hate hustle culture.
I hate hustle culture.
I can't.
People expect the world. And it's like, you know what? You have to give me a goddamn minute to breathe.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, you know what? Just, I can't.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to say that.
It is so okay. And that was the hardest thing because of being a people pleaser. I am so and was so bad for a little while. Be like, oh, photo shoot? Yep. Oh, this? Yep. Oh, you want to do your wedding? Sure. Yep. 700 people on your bridal party? Because that's necessary. Like, some people have bridal parties so big. I don't even like that amount of people. Like, where are these people coming from?
It's crazy.
Like, I don't even have that many friends.
No. Like acquaintances, people I went to high school with. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, but in my wedding, absolutely not. So it's just like really setting, like, if you're going to start a business, no matter what it is, like, I'm sorry, but if you don't know what a boundary is, figure it out before you open a business because...
Oh, you have to.
You have to. Like,
because people will walk all over you.
They will.
If you're the best person and you probably are a people pleaser and you don't have boundaries, the people who will use that against you will break you down. They know. They're like, she'll say yes. And then when you start saying no, it's like you've kicked a puppy or something. They're like, what?
You are the worst person in the world.
Like, I just am like really sad.
And then there goes that disregard for you as a human.
Yeah.
Like, as a human, just trying to float your head above water. I just, like, at some moments in my life, to make myself laugh, I just imagine myself as one of those babies in those, like, floating neck donuts. Like, please, something, just keep me afloat.
Yeah.
It's a neck donut.
Is that what it's actually called? A neck donut?
I don't know.
Okay.
It must be.
That's
I
what's
love that works, but that's what's keeping me alive.
Yeah.
The neck donut.
The neck donut.
The neck
like,
donut. That's just, I imagine a baby face Eliza with a neck donut just swimming on for dear life.
It was
floating.
literally yesterday. I was like, because I put therapy on the back burner, and yesterday I was like, I gotta go back no matter what. It's time. Like I've put this off too long. We are back on the mental health positivity train.
I had to put a hard priority on myself to do that. Coming out of a separation or being in a separation, having it happen, it's still happening. Like it's an ongoing thing. It changes every day. And being a mom and balancing what I like to call a big girl job and you know, all of these things and making sure I prioritize putting me ahead of everybody else, which sounds so weird to me as a human and a mom and a employee and all of that. But like, my therapist said something to me, and it was literally the game changer. So shout out to my therapist. Was that the definition of selfishness has been skewed to be a negative thing, and that being selfish is more of a reflection of self-worth and self-respect. So that like sat with me. and is now starting to feel
She's having a moment.
Yeah,
I'm having a moment. Yeah.
It's starting to feel better.
Yeah.
It's starting to bring me to a place where I can be okay with putting myself first. So, you know, pre-arriving 2 hours early for my interview this morning, I didn't realize I was taking myself out for breakfast, but I definitely could have opened my laptop and worked instead. But I was like, no, this was like a moment that was meant to be. Clearly the universe thinks that I need time for myself this morning. So I did that. And like trying to like find those ways, but like do it from the beginning so you don't crash and burn.
Yeah.
Like it's so tough.
It's hard. But I think a lot of business owners and new business owners should listen to this because it's hard out there.
It's
but
hard.
You have to be selfish, quote unquote, because selfish does seem like a bad thing, but you just...
It does. It's
really
because
not.
it's just
It's
that
not,
word.
yeah.
It's that word because everybody, you know, in those like dramatic TV shows, you're so selfish.
Yeah.
I think it's sometimes it's like it's good. Like you have to.
You have to.
Yeah. Because you can't give people...
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, I had a therapist that would say, like, you can't give people the best of you, like, if you're not your best self right now. Like, something along those lines.
That is like, my mom said that to me, and my grandparents have said that to me, and all of the important people in my life have said that to me. But I was in denial of that because I was in a position where I wasn't supported on that theme. And it just, there was no understanding in that part or in that sort of thought process but you know it aligns for some people and it really doesn't align for others, and I feel bad for the people who it doesn't align for because it has literally changed my life and made me like a much different person, and I can show up so much more for my kids now, and I have energy for them and I prioritize them over everything now, like, which seems horrible to say, but it's like you said, when you're in burnout, when you're there and you're in it, in the middle of it, like you don't even, it's almost like you're not coherent.
No.
Like at all.
Yeah.
Like you're there, obviously, but you're just like.
You're not living. You're just surviving.
Literally.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah. Surviving.
Yeah.
Just like everything's different one day to the next.
Yeah.
And you're just like, how do I get through it? And it's the only priority and everything else comes subpar. So it just like when I was given a different opportunity with 100 Acre Wood to be there full time, I like then after doing 1 full year of like bridal hair, then working till 12 o'clock at night, I just looked back and was very observant of the idea that if I kept doing it like this, that I was going to be so tired.
Yeah.
And then it just wasn't even worth it. Not even the extra cash in the pocket was even worth it. And I don't and did not want that to be the future. And then it takes the joy out of my work.
Yeah.
So, and I think I kind of got to a point where I was doing so much of the same thing. Like every bride tries to be a little different, but I'm telling you right now, it's all the same. You all pick the same bridal hair.
Yeah.
Whether you think you do or you don't, you do. You pick it maybe slightly different, but it's all relatively the same, and it gets a little bit boring.
Monotonous.
Yeah.
I find that's what, like, recently in my career, in this building, I told my boss, I was like, I feel like I'm just like I'm coming in, I'm doing the motions and then leaving. I'm like, I need to know that it's not always going to be like this and that, you know, I can grow and do other things and it could be more. Like it could be more meaningful. And he looked at me, he was like, cool. He's like, then do it.
Wow.
I was like,
being supported in personal growth through
Isn't that crazy?
work is so...
Yeah, they're paying for me to go to school right now.
Wow.
To like, so I can like take all these new
incredible.
skills, and I'm so grateful for this job.
You know what? Like, that's huge for not just them.
Yeah.
In your work environment, and not you and you as like a professional.
Yeah.
But so good for you to feel supported in that, and also good for who you are as a person. Like personal growth is something that I think a lot of moms struggle with because we don't feel like we have the space to do it. Yeah. And if you can get that from work on top of like while you're already here and not feeling like, you know, you have to reach to this crazy height to try and find something to give you that personal growth is huge. It's huge. And I feel that at 100 Acre Wood, I have that ability to grow so much, not only as a person because I have the support to be who I am, but I also like I've never felt more empowered in a job or in a position ever. Like my job description there is assistant coordinator. But I say like assistant coordinator and doer of all things because they're like, oh, do you want to just, you know, sand these 16-foot tables and we're going to do like 7 different types and then we're going to put this layer on the top and we're going to do that twice and like, here, do this and this and all these. I have all these weird skills that I didn't know that I could. I didn't know how to properly build a fire before I started working there. I went to Boy Scouts for God's sakes. But did I know how to build a fire? No, I sure didn't. But and that seems again so insignificant, but like wow, I feel like I'm like, yeah, I can build a fire, like fuck yeah, let's go camping. Like, you know, it just those kinds of little things I think especially for parents, not to just like throw that at this topic, but I think especially for parents who have, you know, children or you know, partners who have partners and then farms and all the things, you know, having those little moments of skills or some way that you can find that personal growth is just so important. And it needs to be something that continues even when you're giving everything you've got to all of the other things and being able to prioritize that and have space for that. And like almost putting a boundary on yourself to be like, you need to go and do this. And you need to like almost have a yes man complex where you're like, yes, I'm going to go do this. Even though your anxiety is telling you, no, don't leave the house. Get your ass out of your house and stop playing Zelda for hours.
Did you listen to the last episode?
No, I didn't.
That's all Kenny has been doing is playing Zelda.
I just bought the new one before. With my extra spare time, I walked in there being like, whoops.
Do you feel so targeted right now?
So good.
I heard it's so good. It's so good. He told me it's better than the first one, and now I just want to go. I was like, I'm going to skip the interview. I'm just kidding.
Everything you loved from Breath of the Wild.
But like heightened
in like better.
Oh God.
It's so good.
Don't tell me that. Why is it wedding season? I'm just kidding.
I literally have my Switch in my bag downstairs.
I love you so much. Did we just become best friends?
Yes.
I think you did. Like
we just had a stepbrothers moment.
We both have Bumblebee tattoos.
Oh, in the same spot.
Yeah.
On the same arm. Shit.
I love
best
friends. I also have a cat, and you have a cat shirt on.
I do have many cats.
I have one.
I have 3.
Well, I have 3 kids, so it's fine.
I have 2 kids.
Yeah, I just, you know, I'm all about this movement right now in my own life to just prioritize the things that mean the most to me and that bring me the most happiness. And a part of that is saying yes to opportunity and not being scared of it. I bought a surfboard. That was pretty cool.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Also, Jeanette, my partner's you're probably going to have to go surfing with her because all she wants to do is surfing.
During the interview, I was like, she likes to surf.
She loves surfing.
Oh, no. We
like,
need to be friends.
Because do you surf on Lake Ontario?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all she wants to do. And I'm like,
oh my God.
I might know someone.
Yeah, we need to hook this up. So my grandparents used to have a condo in Kauai. So when I was a kid.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So when I was a kid.
She lived in Kauai for like 3 winters.
Where?
Like she just lived in a van and would drive around.
So cool. The island's amazing. What? I've been there twice.
She kept trying to get to Australia, but her flight always stopped. Like her first flight stopped in Kauai, and she was just like, "I'm gonna stay here."
It's amazing there. No wonder she stayed. Yeah. It's my favorite place in the whole world.
And then she spent like 2
and
more
not because it's a hot, beautiful island. Like I've jumped around. The reason I couldn't put hometown was like, how do I explain this one? My parents separated super young, and I just like bounced between 2 homes. So I don't really have a hometown because it was always different.
Yeah.
The longest amount of time I've spent anywhere is in Sterling. So I guess that's kind of my hometown. But it's gonna sound super corny. The only 2 places in my life that ever felt like home were my cottage. Because it's like the only constant space that's been there. We've had it for like 34 years.
Yeah.
And Kauai.
I love
amazing.
That.
Weirdest thing ever. Yeah. So I went when I was 12, learned how to surf then. Went back for my honeymoon. Anyway, so I went to Kauai then for my honeymoon.
So we're gonna go to Kauai.
Yes. Mom's trip plus.
I'll just bring Jeanette.
Please bring Jeanette and enjoy it with us because we would love to vacation together. Anyway, went for my honeymoon and I hadn't surfed since really, but was watching people surf and like thinking about doing it, but then didn't. Anyway. Then when I was working at the salon, Ty from Oak Surf Club came in for a haircut. And he was like, I was like, what do you do for work? And he's like, oh, I own Oak Surf Club. And I'm like, pardon? You own what now? And he's like, Oak Surf Club. It's in Wellington. And I'm like surfing? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what, do you do that here? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, where? He's like, in Wellington. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. Went and bought a surfboard. Best decision I ever made.
They winter surf, don't they?
They are insane.
Yeah.
They come out of the water with like icicles on their mustaches.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a vibe.
It's FOMO.
this.
I have FOMO. I would love to do it, but I'm too scared.
I'm scared of winter stuff.
Maybe you and Jeanette can do it the winter.
That'd be
I don't
fun.
know. It'd be so cold, but
It would be fun.
you guys are definitely
So
gonna
yeah,
become friends now.
I bought a wetsuit and a surfboard, and I surfed twice last year, which is terrible, but I've already been in twice this year.
It's only May.
3 times maybe. Yeah, so I'm going to do a lot of that. My surfboard's going to live in my car for the summer so that
Perfect.
hopefully I
love
can
that.
surf before and after work if I can.
That sounds like the life.
You know what? You're choosing you, and that makes me so happy.
I'm trying, and it's really hard.
It's so hard.
But you know what? Even just that little tidbit.
Yeah.
It's like it fills your soul with like that thing that you feel like you've been missing.
Yeah. Which was like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just missing me
Yeah.
as a whole.
Yeah.
I was very like punky in elementary school. I wore like parachute
Are you
pants.
the same people?
I wore
Pretty much,
parachute pants and was like an Avril Lavigne wannabe and like, had paper clips in my ears
Fuck
and
the system.
Yeah.
yeah, anarchy all the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's this beautiful picture that I did. It's not beautiful. I'm just saying this. Because my grandmother called it beautiful. I have a picture of this like very because when we were in elementary school, like having all of those special drawing pencils were like the thing.
The Laurentian
if you were
ones?
like an emo kid, you owned multiple sets of those like tin container drawing pencils that were like all of the B's, HBs, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So I did a drawing like that of an anarchy symbol with like flares on the end of it that looked so just like
I need
majestic.
to see this.
When I go to my cottage, I'll send you a
Okay.
picture. Anywho, my grandmother gets her hands on it, okay? And she brings it to me, and my grandmother is this beautifully artistic soul, very like hippie in her own way kind of person, and she has no idea. Like she's a little bit naive to some things, like doesn't realize. Anyway, she found this drawing, and she comes up to me, she goes, Eliza, this picture is just beautiful. I don't know what she said to me. I was like 15 and didn't care. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool, have it. She hung it up in her bedroom at the cottage.
I love that.
And she has, unbeknownst to her, an anarchy symbol in her floral bedroom at the cottage.
You
I love
are
your
an
grandmother.
artiste.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm never going to tell her because she doesn't listen to podcasts. So she'll never know.
Never know. Be there forever.
Yeah, maybe I'll tell her at lunch today, but I'm not sure.
No, don't do it. 'cause
You can send me a reminder to send you a picture
I'm
of my
looking for
anarchy.
something. You guys can keep talking.
Yeah, that's who I was. I was very like alternative-ish, and then kind of lost that. Felt like I need to be a mom, and I need to be this, and I need to put myself in this box of like what a mom looks like, and
But you don't.
you know what? I just really don't. I need to be me, because once I show my kids that that's what I'm doing and that's what I should prioritize, then that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, do I want that for my kids? Yeah, I want them to be who they are without giving a shit about what anybody says.
Big snaps. What are you showing us?
Please. You had that haircut? Why am I not surprised?
Oh, I've seen that. It's your
I
teenage
haven't.
dirtbag.
Okay, what did I have? I had a pixie cut with long bangs.
Yes. Yes.
And you could like spike it in the back.
And it was like long.
And just like long in the front. Like
Yeah.
not even like an angled bob.
No,
Like
just-
short in the back, party in the front.
Yeah.
Just
opposite of an opposite mullet, kind of.
yeah,
much.
kind of. And then
Business in
for
the back
like
party.
But then for like grade 8 grad, I had them like, you know, those, I don't know, they're like twisted. I'm not a hairstylist, for God's sake. Like almost like twisted cornrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we used to do back then because like Christina Aguilera was doing it. Right. Okay.
Exactly.
So I had those spikes and then like a flower in between each row.
Yes.
That is what my grade 8
obsessed.
grad photos look like.
Amazing.
Beside my best friend, who's the travel, or what does she do? God, Nikki, I'm so sorry. You're a flight attendant. Pictures of her and I. And she's this like beautifully girly, like got an awesome updo and you know, baby blue dress. And here I am in this black dress with a red stripe across the front with my spiky hair and my attempt at girliness, the florals, and dirty Airwalk running shoes underneath my
Honestly, I love
dress.
that. I wouldn't want anything else for you.
You know, I mean, my parents, you would never, I mean, maybe now you would guess, but my parents is this like, are these people who are professionals and just, you know, really incredible people. And, you know, my mom is blonde and gets her nails done and is this beautifully like awesome balance of girly and very tomboy all in one and just very put together. And so is my dad. He's very put together. And my biological father is kind of, you know, he's just like, your average guy. He's got kids and he's this cool, you know, design job, and everybody just looks, you know, very typical human and normal people. And then here's this black sheep of the family, quite literally, with all these dark clothing and like weird haircuts.
Hey, we all know
And I'm just, you know, it's fine. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like I just look back and I'm like, you know what? That is like the root of who I am. And like, I think back then that I wanted tattoos and a nose piercing and all that stuff. Hell yeah, I did. But did I do it during my relationship, my marriage? No. Why? Well, that's a long story. But coming back to all of that now feels so much more authentic. And I think that's kind of where I struggled in being able to find the authenticity in my business, was that I wasn't in a place where I was able to be authentic to me.
That's exhausting too.
Personally.
It's like,
You're like masking. You were just
I was.
and that's exhausting.
I had a man once ask me what I was going to do about my tattoos on my wedding day.
Just leave them.
I was like,
what? I'm going to leave them.
He was like, how are you going to cover them for your wedding day? I was like, I'm not
going to cover them. I'm going to leave them.
People are fun.
Never spoke to him again.
Yeah, I get it. There's one I would cover, but
No, I have
same,
a couple.
but
I
I mean,
cover.
I think if you're like, I'm not heavily tattooed. I think I have 13, 15 maybe. But I think once you reach over 5, you've got one that you don't like.
Oh, I
Yeah,
have many.
yeah.
I don't
got
like.
at least
I don't
one that you don't
I've had
like.
2 laser sessions on these guys.
Oh, how old are they?
This one is probably like 10 years old now.
Okay, yeah. I have one that's over 10 years old and I want to get it lasered. I heard it's really bad.
It hurts like a mother. Never.
Yeah, see, I keep hearing that, which is why I'm happy to just, it's on my back. Nobody ever sees it.
Yeah, it's my one I don't like is on my back, so I don't see it. So I'm like, it's not there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I also have one on the back of my neck
see it.
that I'd love to cover, or like on the nape of my neck.
I know where that is.
Because you're a hair lady.
We've had you for an hour and a half.
Cool.
Is there anything else that we missed?
I don't think so.
And so there she glows. The website's down.
The website's down. Yeah, I'm going to leave Instagram up because, like I said, like I think I'm happy to dive into doing creative stuff. So if people want to do a bridal shoot and it's just for fun and it's something that I can come and kind of do my own thing, great. I love that. That's where my joy is. That's where I shine best. I'm happy to collaborate on that kind of stuff, but other than that, and like reach out if you need referrals, like happy to give them. Have a lot of really cool, very talented people that I know that I can refer you to. But as far as wedding bookings, that's that.
Good for you.
It's a wrap, and it
Choosing
feels
you.
good.
We love it.
Feels good.
Thank you for like sharing this with us.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Honestly, when you reached out, I was like, hey, oh my God.
No, I know.
Oh, come on.
Collectively freaked out. We're like, yep. We're gonna make this happen.
That
This is
makes me
gonna be
feel so
freaking
good.
dope.
I think when I was here, I think like number one, when you were around for your brother's wedding, there was like a couple moments where we're like laughing together and stuff. I'm like, man, this girl's cool.
She's so cool.
And then I came here and then did the interview and met you and was like,
honestly-
God, these two together, this is fun. I like this. And
we have fun.
Yeah, we're fun,
I
right?
feel like this was just like the right way for it to be. I wanted it to be authentic. I wanted to be able to say what I could. And I think, I really wanted to support what you're doing because I think it's really cool.
I think what you do is really cool.
I do too.
I think
fun.
you showing up for yourself is really cool.
Yeah.
I think you setting boundaries is super fucking cool.
It's really hard to do.
Yeah, no, I like honestly,
Really
I
hard.
admire you like as a person to be able to like acknowledge those things and be like, you know what, this isn't for me anymore.
Self-awareness.
Love it, but not for me.
Self-awareness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, and just like respecting yourself and like making sure like, okay, what's good for Eliza right now? What helps me be better? Is it taking on a whole other wedding season and trying to do hair and like give all that I possibly can to 100 Acre Wood because that's where my heart is? No, like I can't tell you how nice it was on Saturday. We had our first wedding at 100 Acre Wood, and it was so nice to wake up at whatever time, eat breakfast,
Beautiful.
not feel rushed, like make a lunch and go to work for 10 and be there and be able to support Mary and like setting everything up and like it not feel like, okay, I'm jumping from one vehicle to the next, putting on one hat, putting on another, or like it's very, it's calm. I feel like I can sink myself into it more. And as soon as like, it was almost like that validation that I didn't need, but I got it and it feels great.
And now you're gonna create some pretty cool shit.
And now I just, I feel like leaving the
surf,
door open
play Zelda.
creatively for There She Glows is great.
Yeah. But now you can pick and choose things that bring your soul joy.
I can exactly, and I just know kind of like the figuring out that this hair salon wasn't my thing. I found out that okay, I've had my fill with bridal hair. There's a lot of other people who are starting to do it now. Enjoy.
Have fun.
If you have any questions, you want, advice about something, you get a nasty email from a bride, you think something's a scam because I've had it all, I've seen it all. I'm always here to like chat about it. And I think like it would be really fun, maybe even eventually to open the doors to doing like specific skill training, like braiding and that kind of stuff. I have some like ideas in my brain maybe. But for now, it's just, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself and just allow it to be what it is and like let it simmer out and just,
That is awesome. I feel
be a
like
mom
we needed
and-
this interview
I needed
today.
this more than I thought I did.
Yeah, I was like, this is what I needed today.
just be a mom and work at 100 Acre and surf and
Play Zelda.
golf and play Zelda.
Play Zelda. I'm like big on that. That's all I can think about. I had Zelda dreams last night.
You know
Okay,
what? I've been there. I've been there.
I'm shutting it down on the Zelda dream.
Okay, bye.
But like, I do love your Zelda dream.
Thank you.
That was amazing. So good.
I think we actually made a new best friend.
I really enjoy her presence.
All of her energy is just exactly I went in Monday and I was just like not feeling life.
We both had like a weird Monday morning, and I think like, well, I've been having like crazy anxiety, but and my morning didn't go as planned, which always throws me off. And then she came in and we talked, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to set boundaries. Like, I think I had a moment of like, it's okay not to hustle, like just, and she reminded me of that, which was really nice.
Yeah, it was like a therapy session.
we didn't cry. I was close sometimes, but I was like, I'm fine.
It's okay. I'm not gonna cry today. I'm not gonna cry. I think because it wasn't like a sad story.
No, I think it's like, I think there were probably very sad moments for her in that
Absolutely.
journey, but I think she is at the end of it when it's like the positivity and you can see the good things coming.
Yeah, and this is,
happening.
I think, what we were talking about is, like the podcast itself isn't necessarily here to like, it is here to promote business. Like,
Yes,
let's be
it is.
serious. Like, that's part of what we want to do, but it's also part of like telling stories. And, like this one, it's like she had a successful business. She was killing it, but you know, like behind the scenes, it wasn't as pretty and glamorous as you see on social media. And I think it's really important that we like talk about those stories too, and like, you know, just kind of like ripping apart the little glamorous social media feeds, and you know what, you can be successful and still struggle, and you can be successful and still want to say no, like this is done now. And that's not a failure.
No. And I think that's the difference. And I think too, we talked about how like society has made the term selfish like a negative thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to be selfish to grow and to be able to give people more of you in the long term.
Yeah.
My therapist recently said to me, when you say yes to someone, when you really want to say no, you're actually saying no to yourself. And I was like, damn it. True. Guilty as charged. No, so I think like we probably both really needed that, and the fact that Elizah like reached out to us, like it's very special.
Honestly, I was just like so honored that she was willing to be so vulnerable with us.
She's very open, and I loved it.
And yeah, I feel like I could just talk to her about anything.
Yeah.
Like literally, we went from like SADs and relationships and business to Zelda.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, and farts in a spacesuit.
Like that's what I literally started drawing a fart in a spacesuit.
Oh, I'm so happy. I knew you would, because I saved that chunk of audio for a later date.
Thank God.
I knew we'd need it. Yeah, I think we both needed that episode.
Yeah,
when it happened. I thought I did. Yeah, and it's the quickest turnaround because we actually interviewed her this week
on Monday. So funny story behind this.
Oh my goodness.
So I get a DM at 8:55 a.m. from Elizah saying, I'm here. The doors are locked. And I'm like, I'm not even in the office yet. Like, it's 9 o'clock. I was
running late that day. I had something to do from like 9 to 10, so I was not here.
And every Monday we have like an all-company 9:10 meeting. We call it the 9:10. We're forever going to call it the 9:10 here on out. So
now you know.
Now you know. So at our 9:10, I was like, okay, I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, why would she be there? I'm like, there's no way we'd schedule something before the 9:10.
I was so stressed.
And on a Monday. Like we don't do Mondays.
No, we don't do.
Because
Mondays are rough for us.
Well, because we have an actual job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's always remember that.
We have an actual job, and, you know, we do a lot of the actual job work on Mondays.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of planning for the rest of the week and the following week. Anyway, so this DM comes in from Elizah at 8:55, and I'm just like, I'm driving at this point. So my car tells me, and I'm just like, wait, what? So I messaged you.
Mm-hmm. I panicked.
Katie panicked.
Because I booked the interview. So I was like, did I do this?
And I'm like, there's no way. Like, it's not possible. There's absolutely no way. And then she realized that she was 2 hours early,
which I appreciate. I always get a little stressed when people are early, like even half an hour early. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not prepared. Because here's a little treat for all of you. I write the introduction and the questions usually the morning of the interview.
Yeah. So when people show up like half an hour early,
I'm usually mid writing an interview.
Yeah, we're putting things together, and we are not ready for you.
We're not. I would love to say I have things together more, but I don't.
I'm working on it. Honestly, though, props to you because you've been doing them the night before the last couple weeks.
I try because I know we're busy and stuff. I'm like, okay, how can I set myself up for like a little bit of success tomorrow? Do something the night before, which, yeah, is its own thing. But
that is its own thing that you need to set a boundary.
I know.
That's why I set the weekend boundary.
I like the weekend boundary, yeah.
Honestly, I have a hard no work on the weekends boundary.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
Yeah. At 5 o'clock, I shut off.
And I think what we all need to take out of this, all you babes listening, is it's okay to set boundaries.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you don't have, okay. Actually, it's funny because Rachel Biles, I can't remember her last name. Hold on. Yeah, Rachel Biles. I just followed her on Instagram. She's in the county. She's a chef and a single mom and an author. Like, total badass. Just launched a new company. She made a post literally this morning about where is it? Because I need to read it to you. She's like, "Hi, I'm Rachel," and I'm like, she talks about like all the things. She's like, I'm high functioning and anxious, and I work on it every day. I'm like, same. The last point she made was, she's like, also at nearly 43 years old, I'm in my don't give an F era. Negative people, things, or people that don't align with me, and I will speak my mind without hesitation. And I was like, you know what? Like, I feel that, because if you don't vibe with me or like who I am or what I do from a very like positive way. Obviously, if I'm vibing in a negative way, I don't expect people to vibe with me. But like me in my existence as a person, if you don't vibe with that, that's not on me to change.
No, it's not.
I know that was a long kind of spiel.
No, but I think too, I recognize I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
No, neither am I.
And that's okay.
No, and I think I've always tried to be everybody's cup of tea. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what?
You're a people pleaser. Yeah. Same. It's tough.
So, and I just want to unapologetically be, like, even at the Quinte West Chamber event the other week, I wore a Hamburglar sweater.
And people loved it.
And the guy from Meta was like, that is a sweet sweater. I was like, thank you.
I think, too, that's it. You have to try, again, as Eliza said, sometimes you lose yourself and then you have to find yourself again. And it can be a freaking journey.
Like, and I'll try. I'll wear my fun band graphic tees underneath a blazer.
Yes. We love that.
You know what I mean? Like, I can be professional. Mm-hmm. Anyways. Also, I got an 85% on my last assignment.
I'm so proud of you.
And only because
I feel like you did it the day of.
I definitely did it the day it was due. And the only reason why I lost marks was because I didn't lay it out the way she wanted it.
So you're good.
So, but all the content was right.
Right. Okay.
She was like, it wasn't laid out the way she asked to, in not even the rubric. It was an additional thing afterwards. So like, this is totally on the teacher, not me.
Also, I just heard this last weekend. So a lot of summers, like a lot of time around spring, summer, you'll hear like women or non-binary folk preparing for hot girl summer.
Yeah.
My friend has told me about, there's now feral girl summer.
Oh.
But last weekend, I heard the term that I am relating to most, which is Golden Girl Summer.
I love it.
Which means I will be a Golden Girl from the show Golden Girls. I will be wearing comfy clothes. I'll be hanging out with my friends, drinking slightly, maybe, mostly eating snacks, and being in bed by 10 o'clock. And honestly, I don't have to feel guilty about that.
And like, I want like a full, there's like this, do you remember, what was it? It was like Project Runway, but Project Runway Canada.
Okay, I never watched it.
Okay, there's a Canadian version, and one of the winners, his name's like Ethan. I can't remember his last name. He makes these like one piece like caftans.
I love that. Caftans, I feel like one piece, anything is coming back, but caftans.
His sizing is basically like 1 and 2. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your size is, because it's going to fit you, because it's just like basically a piece of fabric with like a hole cut out for your head and like arms and legs, and that's it. It's like a big square.
It's a square.
But it's like the fabrics he chooses are really fun.
Oh,
and I'm like, I want to live in that.
Should we get them? Maybe.
Yeah.
Do a Golden Girl summer photo shoot.
I also have the Smash and Tess Birds Papaya Squirrel Romper.
Oh, I feel like I've seen that.
It's like
stretchy.
Okay, so